Going, blah, 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 blah.
Good,
Culture.
good morning to you out there. It is Wednesday, the ninth
Blah,
of
blah, 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 blah.
February. It's Wednesday, the ninth of February, 2022. We're going ahead. This is the middle of the week already,
Yep,
Sherrod, you know.
yep.
Persons joining us this morning would know that we've been with you every single morning since the 1st of
Mm-hmm.
February. And we have been, it's been a wonderful chit chat at the beginning. But we, at the end of the day, welcome to FYI for your information as we come here every single morning, Monday to Friday, to bring you credible information, not just serious information. We also like to bring you information on the software side, on the software note. Sharon Duncan is
Like who's so?
now I want to
The
say
soft
that
side.
Sherrod Duncan was missing in action yesterday, but he's back
Yep,
this
yep, yep,
morning,
yep.
bright, rested. He's fully rested this morning. He had yesterday morning off, yesterday midday off, but as you can see, it did him a whole lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
okay,
rich.
Sherrod?
I'm good.
You sure?
I was eating a delicious piece of bacon. I was trying to kind of choke on myself there.
I'm going to be sipping on my tea this morning a whole lot.
FYI. FYI. Guys, so glad to see you. Trust you've had a good evening and you pull up a cup of tea with us, a cup of coffee, a cup of porridge even, and let us know what you guys are doing for breakfast. We are so great to have we're so grateful to have so many of you guys join us this morning. And FYI, how are things going where you are? How are things going? Hope some of y'all didn't fall overboard. Like a
Oh,
gentleman we're going to talk about a little later on.
Oh, we're going
A
to
little
talk
later
about it. I mean,
on.
yeah, I get that. I get that. Sherrod, we see persons joining you from all over social distance. We're keeping it, especially with that little snuffle that Sherrod just
Mhm.
had there.
I don't
I'm not
came
going to be
from.
playing with,
I
with
know.
the social
You see,
distance
when we're
this
coming out in the
morning.
night, Jew, to get these programs done very early in the morning. But guys, do you wake up early? Like, are you guys morning people? What kind of person are you? You're a night person, operate better when the place is dark. Are you an early morning person? You're a mid morning person. What kind of person are you?
Well, let me tell you, for me personally, I am always a morning person. You can't get me out in the night. That is a struggle. I have to be fully rested during the day to get out
The
during the
struggle is
night.
real. Struggle is
I
real.
cannot be up late, but 4 a.m. in the morning, I can be up from 4 a.m. and just don't be bothered at all. But I know some persons are the total opposite. It's the age, Sharon.
Yep.
The older we get, it's more difficult it is for us to wake up that late. So
Yep, yep, yep. And what are you guys having for breakfast? What are you guys having for breakfast? I was having, as we came on set, a lovely piece of pot bake. I love me some pot bake. And I'm having some black coffee. I'd be happy to know what you guys are having. We know things tight. I see Judith David there from Barticle saying things tight. Indeed, indeed, sir. I had to settle good old pot bake with some butter. Good old pot bake and
well,
some coffee.
Sharon almost brought it on set. He just barely finished it off before we actually started because
Yep,
he was
yep, yep,
eating
yep, yep.
this morning. I think he really enjoyed
I
that.
was just finishing up. I would come and sit and eat. I mean, we're not kind of socially correct, politically correct show. We just go, we just go, we just go, we just go.
We have to keep going. And with that said, I know a lot of persons are out there this morning. Whatever challenges you have, just keep going.
Just keep going,
Just keep
just keep
going.
going.
Once you
Just
have
go, guys.
life, once you have the breath of life
Yep,
within you, that
yep,
is an indication that there is still hope. No matter what difficult situation you're in this morning, just know that you have life. Once you're breathing, just keep going, keep pressing forward. It's gonna be all right.
yep.
You
I
know,
kind of
some
miss Samantha. I kind of miss Samantha this
I
morning.
miss her dearly. I was calling
Where in
her.
the world is Amanda? Where is Amanda?
you know,
Guys, we're so glad to have so many of you with us. I see Maureen Coppin is here and Paulette
I see
Johnson is here
Amanda's
too.
here. Hi guys.
Amanda says, Amanda, why are
Which
you outside as against inside? Good to
Amanda's
see
in
you,
the comment.
Amanda. Alexis Arthur is here as well. Vashti Magnot is here too. Vashti is from Waterloo, Canada. So good to have Canada in the house. Vonda, I see Vonda Perry Fraser Leacock is with us this morning as well. We see June Chase as
Yes.
well. And Pamela Santurine. Good to see you, Pamela. Pamela, thanks for the thing. Thanks for the thing. Folks, y'all want us to take. Send things,
Just
we could say thanks for the things. Good to see each and every one of you. Leslie Charles, we
You
see
see
you.
Rowena Williams. Rowena Williams, she's always here. You know, there are certain
Yeah,
names when I
yeah,
see these names
yeah.
pop up, I'm like, this person is always here. I
Ron
see
Ron Sultan is up early too.
Paulette
Hmm.
Hicks is here. Paulette Hicks is here with us all the time. Also, you know, Sharon, your fans are some dedicated fans.
Our
Our
fans,
viewers
our
are
fans, our
dedicated.
viewers, our fans, our viewers.
Yeah,
And we know
we
you
try to
guys
be
are gonna
discreet about this,
we
right? So,
we know you guys are gonna share the program FYI.
someone is asking
and
where
you
is
guys
Sue?
and you guys we pulled up a chair just for Sue. We're hoping that Sue stops by.
Yeah, we are very
But
welcome.
apparently Sue has made some comments. I'm sad that Sue hasn't made these comments publicly himself. But Sue apparently has made some comments on this whole matter, and we're going to share that a little later on in the program as we pursue who is Sue, who is Sue. Sue shared some comments, and we're going to share that with you guys. But good to see first and foremost Carol Hudson and Eye Candy. You know, people who got names like Eye Candy.
I was
I
looking
want
at it.
judge for myself. I want me one nobody tell me this eye candy. Right? I want judge for myself. Send a
want to make that
photograph.
determination.
I want maybe them. That's a very subjective thing.
I can.
Eye candy. You know, very, very
Perception
subjective.
is perception.
Yeah, very subjective. Margaret Nelson, we see you. Good to see you, Margaret.
we have
Margaret is
Lisa.
joining us all the way from New Jersey.
Well, we have Lisa joining us all the way from Barbados. You know, Lisa Barbados. We have Mia Motley over there doing her thing.
Say hi to Mia for us. We'd love to have her on with us. We love to have Mia on with us. Yep.
Yeah, well, I think you made a point of the discussions, the type of international relations that and discourse generally that Mia is involved with. You know, it's contrary to a lot of the discussions
Denise
that we are having
Mitchell,
here.
respected manners, Denise, and is it Chilion? Beresford, you got all these fancy rich people name.
Oh my
Merle
gosh.
Joseph. I see Agre Dillon Marsh. Agre says that Mia's coming next week.
Correct.
Well, you know, folks tell Mia she has to come and visit our set. We got some coffee here. We's a people that got we things, you know. We got we things. So Mia could stop by, got a little coffee, a little tea. We got even a little green tea on the herbal side too, and so forth. We into a little bake here, some crackers with little biscuit with little jam. I was it's crackers with jelly. Marlon Thomas, Robert Narayan, good to see you as well. I Candy, Lisa, all the other folks. Good to see you. Folks, you know, y'all make the program what it is. What it is. Y'all make it.
We have Troy from Anguilla. You know, this is the first comment that I've seen.
Wow.
So Troy, welcome.
Wow.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a long time I ain't got some remittances from Anguilla. Just saying. Chisung Henry. Now with a name like Chisung Henry. I want Chisung no Sue. Y'all's family Chisung. You and Sue family. And then we have Yonette Ann Smith Undon. Yonette Ann Smith Undon. We got Desiree Simon Liverpool. Desiree, how you doing? So good to see you, Desiree. Hope all is well where you are. Desiree, the diaspora, you know. Last US money, like Sue. Fitz Gulliver. Good to see you.
Benjamin. Good morning to you, Anika.
Yep,
How was your night? How was your night out there?
So glad to see all of you guys are up. You all are fired up. You all are ready to go. How are you folks doing?
I think you have a good Barbados team. We're seeing Yonette is coming in from Barbados also. So Barbados in the house this morning, very early.
Did you guys have any dreams? Y'all see any lotto numbers or so on? I just want dream. You know, y'all see any lotto numbers? Y'all see me sitting on the set here talking with us? Guys, we're so privileged to see each and every one of you. I know as I was coming on having my bake, having my coffee and so on, Treaty hit me with a bombshell. She was telling me how she has learned that breakfast is no longer the most important meal of the day. I was like, what? Say what? Say what?
So like I said, I'm very much of an
That was like my Osu moment. Osu?
I'm very much of an early morning person because actually my mother is always up very early in the morning. So this morning at 4 a.m., when I woke up, my mother was up before me and she was listening to these TED Talks. You know, TED Talks, it's very informative. I encourage persons generally to go out and look at the TED Talks. It's on YouTube. Nevertheless, so the woman was on TED Talk and she was saying that
Treaty's mom is a tuber.
Oh, well,
Treaty's mom is a tuber.
She's I think she's like an information junkie. She's always out there looking for more and more information. So I give it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, back to this breakfast.
Before I distracted.
So the woman was actually saying that all the years that we were told, and we learned, and the nutritionist said that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and even persons that were going on various diets and so on, they were encouraged, if they're to miss a meal, it should not be breakfast. But this woman was saying, that research, modern research has overtaken that information, and now that is no more the case, and it's no longer breakfast is being considered the best method of just eat your breakfast and you can do whatever after. But what the research is showing now is that intermittent fasting, Cheryl, is
What
now
kind of new age intermittent
it's kind of
fasting?
it's
Huh?
kind of means that
Things done tight. We have economically imposed
impose.
intermittent fasting.
Well,
That's what we got.
that is what has been touted to be the best method now, and when it comes to health, overall health, and especially persons that are trying to shed a few pounds and things like that, intermittent fast. I'm not saying this; I'm just giving you the information that is out there. Like I said, you can go look at TED Talks, and apparently there's a lot of research out there that goes towards intermittent fasting. So that's what Sharon was speaking about this morning around the breakfast setting.
We have a national economically imposed intermittent fast, folks. I think
Want me
that's gonna
there.
that's gonna do it for me. That's gonna do it for me.
But
I don't need to self-impose another one.
With the inflation costs in cost of basic food items, we can see that we can only afford
Yeah,
one meal
yeah,
per day as
yeah.
it is.
You know how, and we went through some of those prices just the other morning on this very program. All those prices have gone up, and we were looking at an independent source, and we were talking about Sabbath News that put out
Yes.
a whole
Very
editorial
detailed, very
on how
detailed.
the prices have gone up. So with those kinds of, as we said, nationally imposed intermittent fast, what other kind of fasting
You should be
do you
looking
need?
fit as ever.
Yep. Lean,
The
lean and looking nice. I'm looking here. The monitor it says that we have with us. Randy Ferguson is here too, and Eileen Griffith, Norton Innes. My God, lots of names. Beverly Adams and Saint Romaine Adams. The whole Adams clan come out this
Carol
morning.
Hudson is here with us this morning. Good morning, Carol.
Yep,
Good
yep,
morning.
yep. And I Candy Lisa's telling us she's never used to have breakfast.
However,
However,
start to
yep,
have
yep.
breakfast around 9ish.
Yep.
Start-
Marilyn Lorimer, good to see you, Marilyn. Cordell Garrett and Diane Britton. Folks, I think our programs are like the only programs in the world. We call out the name of the people making comments and all that. But folks, we love to engage with you guys. We love to engage with you guys. Love having you guys around the breakfast table in the morning.
Yes.
Wherever you're joining us from around the world, guys, we're so privileged to have you here. We're probably the only breakfast table in the world that sits hundreds of persons. Hundreds of persons, and I appreciate that. Like us, some people wake up with breakfast and you head in front of the television. Some of you guys are picking up on your smart televisions, your smartphones, heading to work, perhaps coming home from work based on where you're working in the world.
Beverly, we see Beverly there. Beverly Adams. Beverly, are you related to Adams in Barton? My neighbors are Adams in Barton. Good morning to you, Beverly. We
Everybody
see you.
in Barton is neighbor. Everybody.
Listen, that was probably prior, but Barton is very populated right now.
Yeah, gone up.
When we talk about
Your
diversity and melting pot, that's Barticle. Okay, there's a lot to talk about it in other parts of this country, but when you want to see real diversity and the real melting pot when it comes to culture and to showcase the beauty of Guyana, you can come to Barticle. Shirley, you may dispute this, but it is what it is.
Well, I was born in Linden, came to Georgetown very early, but I love Bartica. And I've always said I'd love to get a piece of land in Bartica and retire. Bartica is lovely, beautiful, clean, picturesque, and so it's a really lovely piece of real estate. And we love all our Barticians, all our Barticians, including Kamal Prasad.
Kamala is
no
a
exception.
gem. She's a gem.
No exception, including Kamal Prasad there. Eula Laframan Rubens is here with us. Guys, we know you guys come on the program and you all get so ingrained in it. You are focused. You're holding a focus, as our co-host Amanzo would say. You're holding a focus, guys. But while you do that, we want you guys to share the program as well. Each and every one of you, the hundreds of you who are watching us this early in the morning. share the program as well. We want you guys to smash that emoji. But let's see how you guys are feeling out
When it
there.
comes to breakfast, I believe I just saw a comment run by from Judith David. I think she was saying she's having fish broth and cassava bread.
When you start the morning, Judith, with fish broth and cassava bread, you stand up for the whole day, you know. Them,
she don't need enough meal.
you don't need that. You strong for the whole day. Till dinner, fish broth and cassava bread. That's it, you know, folks. That's the thing right there. That's the thing.
That is correct. That is correct. And I see some of our viewers are out there saying, share the live stream. You know, they're
share.
from you.
tell the folks who won't hear me. Share the live stream. Good to have you guys.
Good morning, Unice. What is it, Unice Kato? Good morning to you, Unice. I see Unice is out in the comment section early this morning. You know, it's a wonderful feeling to actually come in the morning and interact with these persons because it gives us a unique opportunity to reach out and to see what is going on, not only in the different regions of Guyana, but also around the Caribbean and the diaspora all together. It's absolutely amazing. The show gives the unique opportunity for Guyanese to interact from around the world, and not only Guyanese, but persons that see an interest in coming here and listening to what is going on in Guyana. So we love to be here. We love to see your comments. You know, sometimes we go back through it to see what persons were saying for comments that we missed and so forth. So it's always beautiful. I know persons even catch up. I saw one time someone was catching up in the comment section with someone they didn't see in a long time.
But you know, Jurita, what is equally interesting is that sometimes we hear pouring out we heart on these social issues and people distracted by their own thing.
No,
you know, I read some comments recently. After the show, we go back and we look at some of the comments and we try to respond. And sadly, because hundreds of you are responding in the comment section, we don't get a chance to reach out to everybody. But there was somebody talking about Judith's hair being distracting. No, we poured out we heart and we soul.
Someone asked if it was a wig.
And somebody said, "Oh, Judith, straighten your neck. Your hair is distracting." You know, y'all are easy, you know. Y'all ain't easy at all. We love having you guys.
You know, I'm very touchy too. I use my hands a lot. Persons, if anyone had interacted with me prior, you will realize that I use my hands a lot. Like I'm always.
That's very loaded. She uses her hands a lot. Like, break it down for us. Break it down.
In conversation, in communication, as a method of effective communication, I tend to utilize hand movement to demonstrate and engage. So Sharon,
how nice. How nice. Apparently we need a late night show too.
Oh my God.
Apparently, as a lecturer of mine at the University of Guyana where I went and I didn't fall out.
This is rated PG.
This is apparently folks. Nice having each and every one of you here. Some of the issues that are making the news this morning.
Well, there's a lot that's making the news this morning. One of the things that, like I said, a lot of times we come in the morning and we don't want to be bringing sad news. We want a morning show. We wish the morning show could just be this light news that we bring in, but it's so many mornings.
It is what it is.
Bring such negative things, and we're picking up here that Aubrey Beard was stabbed to death last night in Durban Street.
Wow.
And as you could recall, just 2 nights ago, we had Mr. Waite being killed on Leopard Street, right? And we do not. I think someone was arrested for that actually. The name is slipping me at the moment.
But last evening, wow.
And he was stabbed to death right in Durban Street. You know, persons out there. Let me tell you, we have less than 1 million people in our country. Less than 1 million people. Why are we out there killing each other? Mm-hmm. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. How does it benefit us as a people all together? You know, when you read about these things, and you can tie it into so many things, it's like a ripple effect that is going on throughout the society. And when you look at the different groupings and where you find these things prevalent, you know, you dare say that there is an issue that isn't being addressed, and
correct.
We see what is going on there. I saw Cheryl, I think you covered it a bit last evening on your program as well, with these young men out there literally robbing, like choke and rob, literally, like in the most literal sense. It's just not a terminology.
That was literal, and we featured some in the ring last evening. One episode where this is Central Georgetown. This isn't Region 9 or something like that. Central Georgetown. You got the seat of the government. all the business activity happening here, you would think folks will be more vigilant. Right? The police, that is, will be more vigilant.
Yep.
Right? But no, right in broad daylight, high midday noon sun, folks, and folks are being robbed. Folks, we have to arrest this crime surge. We have to arrest it. We have to arrest it. And, we have to arrest it. And we want to say to folks too who are using the city, you're traversing, wherever you're going, be little vigilant. Them boys are out.
No, but when it comes to this issue with crime, especially these petty crimes, snatching chains and so forth, that's the category it falls under. When it comes to it's not white collar crime. First of all, white collar crime is a whole different level. The guys go into the banks, and they have all sorts of mechanisms that is set up that they're actually draining millions, sometimes billions of dollars out. But they're not the ones that are going to be painted to society as these blatant criminals, because white collar crime is a whole different setting altogether. But I want to speak to young people out there. This show, Sheridan, you reach a lot of persons, young people out there. Take stock of who you are, where you're going in this life, and your parents out there. A lot of the situations we see with young men out there that's involved in these criminal activities, they come from different situations. They come from situations of poverty. They come from situations of dysfunctional families. And in society, we have a role to play. As a mother, I can passionately say that we all have a role to play, and that's why we come to this. We come to the saying that says, "The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world." And if we having families that are dysfunctional, a lot of children out of the school system, not being able to have a formal education, and therefore not being able to have any proper job when they are supposed to be working, and all these things, it's a ripple effect that is going on. And I dare say, when it comes to this particular matter, Sharon, I'm very clear. I never take any stringent side as to who is responsible. Because when it comes to these situations, I think the society as a whole, we have various responsibilities. Like I said, the churches have a responsibility. Where are these mentorship programs that should be coming out of these religious organizations? When last have we heard of some group going into the various societies and actually gathering the young men together and trying to give some kind of direction and guidance to them all together? That's why I say it's one thing for us to go and do one-off handouts and take pictures and so forth, but we are not addressing the real issue unless we provide a pathway for persons to elevate themselves out of those situations. So whenever I look at young men out there committing crime, it's a very serious matter altogether. The police definitely needs to be involved, because if the police is involved and more vigilant, and as we know, persons would not feel as free to go out there and commit these crimes. However, we still have a responsibility as a community to make sure that we do our part to end it, to alleviate it altogether. The country is small.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
700,000
Yeah.
people. We killing each other out. We out there robbing each other. It's just ridiculous. It's most
It's
ridiculous.
madness. That's what it is. It's
Most
absolute,
ridiculous.
absolute madness. And Dreech is a mother. I am a father and husband, and so goes the family. I've learned
Yep.
over time. So goes the community. So goes the society, and so goes the nation. And we've said in our programs here, we got to fight for our family. We can't just give up. We cannot just give up. A child don't move from 1 year old to 16,
Yep.
17, and just start, bringing, thieving people's stuff and choking and robbing. We got to fight for our family, and the administration and governments
Yeah.
got their role to play as well in policy making. I know Rita did her master's in public administration, public policy, and this is part of what governments have to do, create programs, because invariably you have dysfunction, invariably. But irrespective of that, programs got to be created. And the other side of that is that we can't depend on government for everything. We can't depend on governments for everything. We got to fight for our families. We got to determine that we're going to leave the next generation a little better than we found it. And I dare say, fathers in this society, We got to play a greater role. Too many fathers, are just
Yep.
there. They're just there, right? Not contributing in
No,
any meaningful way.
they're absent.
All right,
They're
yep,
absent.
yep.
They're absent
Well,
by
the debt absent, right? Look,
They're
folks,
not here.
you don't have to have all the money in the world, and I dare say, when you think back about the time you've had with your parent, you don't think about all the gifts you had and all the chicken you eat and so on. You think about
Time.
it's time, it's the experiences that you have, and we all have to be very deliberate about that. Taking care of our children. You bring children into the world. Oh, mind them now. Take care of them now.
I want to actually highlight something, right? It's something that people don't really highlight generally when it comes to these guys that comes with a knife and they stick you up and they snatch a chain and they take off your earring and stuff like that. They are not keeping these things. They're not taking these things from you and taking it home and putting it in a little jewel box somewhere. They are taking these items to someone that has an established business that is selling jewelry, and those persons are purchasing those stolen items, knowing full well that it's stolen items. They are purchasing it, but at the end of the day, those persons are absolutely never held accountable for having a part in that. And I want to show it because it's a cycle, it's a system, it's an entire structure that is set up. And we cannot just keep addressing one aspect of it and expecting it to change. We have to address the entire establishment. We have
Point
to
taken.
dismantle that entire structure.
Point taken. And talking about dismantling structures, folks, yesterday a fellow fell overboard at the Prickles selling.
Oh my God. So that stellan is well known to me. I use the pre-stellan practically every week, right? I'm always there doing something. And everyone that knows, once you're going to Sequebo, if you're going to Bartica, Awakener, whatever, you have to use the Perica stellan. And anyone that uses the stellan would know that the stellan desperately need repairs and so forth. The Bartica stellan was no different. However, works were done by the previous government, and the Bartica stellan is halfway completed. And I know that there is a plan to do the previous stellan. But one thing I noticed, I saw that video of the guy that fell overboard. And it was most disturbing to hear the person that was taking the video, all giggling and laughing as though that was something funny. In any developed country, that man would have been able to sue the state for that, right? Because those public good things like the style in the road and so it's a public good. It's put in places. It utilizes taxpayers' dollars, my money, your money, our money. It utilizes taxpayers' dollar and to put it into place and then to maintain it. So basically what is happening there right now is that it wasn't being maintained. You can't have a missing board in the stelling. Come on. You have kids walking there.
Yeah.
You have elderly people
Yeah.
walking there. That situation could have been
The
a whole
public,
lot
the
worse.
public is using the selling. The public
Exactly.
and the authorities.
And it's not for free. A
Yep.
public good is not a free good. There's nothing free. You learn that.
Here's the policy part of
Right.
hers stepping in now.
So you will learn that there's no such thing as a free good. Somewhere, somehow, that good is being paid for. And when it comes to these goods that we refer to as public goods, the public is paying for these goods every time
You and I
receive
are taxpaying dollars.
your tax. Every time you receive your salary, there's these deductions. These deductions that goes to NIS, and so those are the money, the taxes that comes out, especially when you have your PAYE, pay as you earn. Those monies are being utilized to actually put things like roads and bridges and stellings up for you to use. So don't let anybody feel, you're walking on the road, person's trying to push you off of the road into the corner. Come on, we have a right. We have this right because we make sure that we pay for this right. Whenever you
Here
go
is the
buy
economist.
food, whenever you go to the supermarket and you buy food, those taxes that come out, VAT that is coming out, all those taxes, that is you paying to have proper public goods to use.
Correct is right.
Let's just be
Correct is
honest.
right. So here is this selling at Perica, and a board is missing.
An entire
And this
board.
fellow just falls through.
This is not a
Right?
board like this, the
Yep.
Perica styling. If any styling board, it's a board is missing. This is a space that is left. Someone could pass through it. And
The guy
tell that
fell
they
through,
had-
and of course into the Demerara River below. He's soaking wet, and we're
How,
happy that he
how are you
survived.
getting to Damara River at the Precos
Sorry,
Valley?
which river? That's the Essequibo River. The Essequibo River.
Forget sure.
My geography is it's a good thing you use there frequently. I can see this. These memes create themselves. Wow, the Essequibo River runs there, and so he falls into the river below. And thankfully, I don't know if he
Yes.
was rescued. We don't have that backstory, but he survives. Traumatized. But again, the focus is that these you know, we love to say we've had all these budgets passed. They're the biggest budgets ever. But again, if they never meet the people to the level of getting the stallion fixed, then what are we doing?
Well, that is very, very true. We need those are projects that need to be expedited, and I say this regardless of which government is it. When we're talking about things that directly impact the people, things that the people need to use, things that protect the safety of the people that utilizes it. This is regardless of which government, the government of the day, whichever government is in, need to be putting these things as a priority, right? We don't need to hear
I say
about.
move the Demra River to Puerto Rico. That's all I'm thinking in my head. Should we move the Demra River? That's all I'm thinking now. Thank you, Twitter.
Before, let's have some direction back to this conversation. So we're not going to talk about the Deborah River for now, Sharon. So what we're simply
Sipping my
saying,
tea.
what we're simply saying is that you cannot be just you cannot just be going into new projects. Basically, you cannot just be having new projects and you talk about this transformation. We have to at least be able to maintain what is there. Efforts need to be put in
Yeah.
place to at least maintain what is there so that it's not in a condition that will actually cause harm to human life. And that's what's going on here. That was a situation that could have caused harm to life. And that is the honest truth about it. So we expect to see an experience when it comes to having that new stellar, and especially when it comes to actually maintaining the stellar that is right now for the very short time, hopefully before it is properly fixed.
Yep. Expeditiously. That's the word of the day. But the question of the day.
What is the question of the day for
The
you?
question of the day, Stephanie Pearson, Travanka, and Denise Mitchell, Margaret, Margaret Nelson said, we know you're bright, Sharon. I love it. JG, who's JG? Francis Kim, Andrew Cuthbert, and Brian Soka. The question of the day, Juita, the question of the day.
I don't know what's your question, but I see a lot of comments about Sue.
The question of the day, who is Sue?
Oh
That's
my
the question of the
God, who
day.
is Sue?
Who is Sue?
I think one of the articles in Star of News today actually brings out who Sue is.
Right?
Right?
As a matter of fact, you know, the more we investigate, the more we learn. Sue so rich, Sue could move the Demra River to pass by the Puerto Rican. Sue so rich
Sue's a
could
man wrong.
divert the Demra River to pass by the Puerto Rican. And so I could be right. Who is Sue, folks? Who is Sue?
Based on credible information, Sue appears to be. It is alleged that Sue is a very influential person
Wow.
in that resides in this country. So
I
that's what
think-
I hear.
I think-
that's what I know about Sue. That's
That's what we know.
far.
So here's some of what we know about. So I think we have some graphic. The guys are going to pull up for us. But based on what we know, based on the information we have, the little digging
Someone says
we
Sue
have
is
done.
the people man. Listen,
Tanya Cummins says Sue is my boo. Good for you.
she's well off.
Chisung Henry. Chisung, well, we talked with a name like Chisung. You would know who Sue is. That's what we were hoping. And Pamela Valder, Cancius, Eileen Griffith, Norton, Innes. We thought y'all would know. Judith says we got to ask Mudwater. Who is Sue? You know, if Mudwater know, we want to know who Sue be. So this is the scandal perhaps of the year. Who knows? It could get worse. It could get worse. Sugate, Jack Neo's Chinese connection. People asking who is Sue. Who's sharing the live? Hold on. Who's sharing this live stream? Some of you just come, y'all suck up the information. Y'all like them house guests, you just come for eat. Y'all time apart good. Right? You never bring a half pound plantain and say, here, throw this in. You never bring a small cokes. Right?
Sugar for the coffee.
Never bring no sugar for the coffee. Hey, you just come Time the pot good and you gone. Who's sharing the live stream for us this morning? Who's going to smash that emoji? Karen McCoy says it's BJ brother. Brother from another mother, perhaps. Brother from another mother. Brian Soka says, oh my God, look, my Uncle Sue, he rich now.
Well, George,
Typical guy, Liz.
George Bradford is saying, and he's quoting in the way George Bradford, you're quoting in the way which I quote, and says, but Jack Dew said it's his tenant. And, that's how I'm reporting, because we have to be so careful with how we use our words in this situation, because we can only report what is out there in the public domain about these characters and actually the entire situation. Because I can assure you that myself and Cheryl, we don't know Sue.
Who is Sue? That's the question. Guys, bring us back. Who is Sue? That's the question we want to know. Bring us back, guys, and we hope you guys have that video insert ready for us, because the question of the day is, who is Sue? And guys, to give you guys some background, Isobel Young, a reporter out of, I think it's Vice Media Group that produces Vice News, internationally known, had a sit down with Vice President Bar Jack Neo quite recently on a number of issues. But what stood out is the segment that dealt with Sue and the accusations and the allegations that the Vice President has been taking bribes from Chinese businessmen for them to get contracts. Those allegations were put to him, and he responded, and I think we have some video of that section of the interview.
Chetram said Sue is a lover man. I couldn't miss that.
What about within your government?
Yes.
Do you accept bribes?
No, I don't.
We've spoken to a number of Chinese business people in Guyana who said that you do accept bribes, and they have said that in fact it's the only way to get business done is to bribe you. One Chinese businessman we spoke to involving timber logging told us that basically as long as the Vice President is okay with it, it's fine. He just needs to give one phone call to whoever is in charge, they'll get it done right away. The real big boss is the Vice President. Everything goes under the table. The whole country is like this.
Yeah, well, I can't comment on that because it would be an anonymous person. You can just sit there and fabricate that. As I said before, a lot of the companies and reporters. But you can if you name the person, that's fine. When the reporters come from abroad, this is their catch you kind of thing. You always want to make a developing country leader look corrupt. So you've done your bit. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people. I can say, two persons told me before this interview, don't do the interview with Vice News because that is precisely what they will do. They will fabricate something and come and say they spoke with people here.
Well, we're not fabricating
yes,
anything.
But let's talk about let me tell you something. So all my statements are in with the Integrity Commission. The last government, they checked everything about me and they didn't find anything. They checked my bank accounts abroad. They checked everything. They didn't find anything. So there has to be the evidence of it. But you're not bringing evidence. You're saying an anonymous Chinese source.
Okay, well,
maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you. Or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhirong?
So my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes. He is a friend of ours. His father was here from many years ago.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he lives next door to you.
Yes.
He was able to arrange meetings and catch-ups with you at any point in the day. He claims
as a friend, yeah.
He claims that through his very close relationship with you, that he's able to get any deal done.
Well, I don't know if that's
able to change laws for investors.
But then which law has been changed for any investor?
So Sue told us that if you want to get anything done in Guyana, you need some hookups. I'm very close with the Vice President and the other officials. The Vice President and I share a very close relationship. Also, if we do the business, he'll help out no matter what. There's no one else who can help like he does. he also said when he's talking about
Yes, but help.
prospect investors that
Yeah.
the vice president said he can change the constitution. He said he can manage. Everything is going to be done soon. He's really treating us as brothers. He's already trying to help us as much as possible. Of course, I need to give back to him in return.
Yeah, but that is, I don't know about giving back, but I do that to everybody who comes to my office. The American companies come here to see me, and they need a meeting. You asked to see me. I have an open door policy since I was president, so people come to see me. But I've had a long history of being in public office, and we never had any of this stuff that you talk. And all my accounts are clear. If you are coming here with specifics, so I just heard what you read, and that's totally accurate. I help out as many people as I can. That's totally accurate what you read there. Unbelievably accurate. It's accurate. So I help people out, but it doesn't mean for consideration. It does not mean for bribe, because I believe that we have a mission to help as many people as possible move forward in this country.
Well, Sue also told us that, the amount will divide between the vice president. It's going to be a service or process.
Oh, really?
If we're going to do business together, my boss is not going to directly receive the money. Obviously, it's not going to directly transfer to him. The service charge is 4% of the total. It's not only me, most of it's the vice president. Mm-hmm. Do you use middlemen like Sue in order to take money on your behalf so that you can keep your hands clean?
No. The answer is no.
Why do you think that Sue would say this?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
He's saying it because he, as he understands it, that's the truth.
Well, no, that's he understands it, so that's what you have to ask him. But the answer is no.
So why do you think he's saying this to us?
I don't know.
Yep, and we are back. Interesting times, people. Interesting times. Oh, Sue?
Yeah.
Interesting time. You know what I'm struck by is that we haven't heard from Isobel Young.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, before we were told this, before we saw this this segment of the interview, we never knew there was an interview done by Vice Media Group.
Yep.
We never knew there was an interview done. And it was via the Vice President's Facebook page that we learned that this interview and government media, they published part of this interview. It would seem to the average person, and what we've been hearing is that they're trying to get ahead of something. And that is why they put out this segment of the interview with Vice News. But what struck me last evening is that this is the Vice President who put out this information. And then the Vice President had to call a press conference to do damage control on information that they themselves put out there. It is mind-boggling to me. But again, we have not heard officially from Isobel Young.
Or Vice Media.
Right? Or Vice Media. We have not seen what they are producing. We have not had the benefit of the full scope of the interview and what exactly they're getting at. Was the Vice President the center of the interview, for instance, or was he just giving a comment on something bigger that they were investigating? We don't have that context of yet. Just to say to you guys, there's more to come.
Well, that one thing is clear is that what we're getting right now, all the information that's in the public domain is most definitely just a scratch of the surface, a tip of the iceberg, if you can put it over in those manner, because what is definitely factual is that there's a lot more when it comes to who this person is, what is the relationship with not only the vice president, but what has he been doing in Guyana all the time. This is someone I believe that is in Guyana way before we were involved in politics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what has this person been doing all along? So, but I want to put a little bit on the reporter, if I dare say, because a lot of persons are commenting on the reporter and how well she did the interview. And I can pull up here, if you pull up on Google, they're saying that Isobel Young is a British long-form documentary correspondent. She has covered a variety of stories concerning major global issues such as world conflicts, terrorism, mass detention and genocide. She's also reported on social issues in developing countries such as gender roles, women's rights, and mental health, and so forth. So she's not someone that's a fly-by-night reporter. So I say that to say that we see this this piece of the interview, and I think it's just a piece of the interview because I think the abrupt ending gives me the impression that there was more said. Nevertheless, we see this being published by the vice president's page, and also we see it being published by, I believe it was DPI, if I'm not mistaken. And basically, we know when journalists of this nature go out there to do proper investigative journalism, they just don't do one interview. They're putting a story together. They're going to be doing several interviews and whatever. So I think they're trying to jump the gun and put this part out prior to what to anything else that may be unfolded later on. But again, we can say that we're going to bring you the information that's in the public domain.
Yeah. So we started talking about Sugate. We're gonna ask the guys to pull back that for us.
Yes.
We started looking at Sugate and what we've been able to piece together as to who Sue is. We give you a picture of Sue as part of Sugate. Again, this is on the lips of every Guyanese. These damning allegations that the vice president has been taking bribes to give business to Chinese businessmen, preferably over perhaps American contractors or other international contractors. This is Sugate, folks, gripping the nation. So here's what we know from what we have pieced together about Sue.
Well, the name, share the first thing you need to say. I think persons keep saying Sue, but Sue Jerome. I think that is the way in which it's pronounced. I think the reporter, she went ahead and she pronounced it like that. And also in the interview that the vice president had yesterday, he also said that full name as well. Hence the corroboration of who this individual actually is. So Sue became a significant figure in Guyana through the logging or timber company, Wrong and Inc., which he owns, and that is information also that is in the public
Interesting.
domain. That's
Very
information that's
interesting.
being pulled out to the public domain through local media. I
Yeah,
dare say.
yeah.
Sue has long been connected to the partly state-owned Chinese logging company by Shanling. Those information, again, these are not the information that we have been doing any investigative journalism on. Those information that's out in the public domain. It has
Yep.
been wrong. And Inc. is considered the second biggest Chinese logger and log trader in Guyana.
This is Sue's company.
Well, that is what has been established again through local
And
media, and it's not today.
yeah.
This is not today, last year, or anything like that. This is years ago. This information was actually put out there in the public domain.
Interestingly enough, Juita, on that second point about the Chinese state-owned logging company, it was in that interview with Isabel Young that we learned that they were no longer going to go with the Chinese state company for the construction of the new Demerara Harbor Bridge, the construction company linked to the Chinese state, but they were going to the second highest bidder. Interestingly enough, in the interview where the Sue gained prominence and the allegations that the vice president taking bribes from Chinese companies for preference, for their contractual preferences and kickbacks and all of that, the allegations of these things, we learned that the Chinese state company, incidentally, no longer going to be building or being part of the process of the new Demerara Harbor Bridge. Interestingly enough, in that same interview.
But we said, Shad, we actually said that it is very wrong, and it is very, there is no transparency about the entire process. We should be able to have cabinet briefings in which these things are made known to the public through those mechanisms. It should not be we have a reporter that is coming from not even from one of our local media. We have a reporter that's coming from overseas to actually do an interview in which these things are being revealed to the Guyanese people in such a haphazard way, as though it is a forced revelation.
Interesting. Or that is going to be the question of the year: who is Sue? What is his involvement in government? And I think in true fashion, that the modus operandi of the PPP administration whenever they're in government is always a very small clique making all of the decision. And if not a small clique, one person, as is demonstrated here, it seems to be the vice president alone who calling all the shots. I hear Irfan Ali name mentioned yet once. Right? It seems to be him. This is the president. Jack Neo is the president. And he's calling all of the shots. But here's some additional information, folks. We picked up about Sue and who this Sue character is. Again, we trust you guys are sharing the live stream and you are smashing that emoji, but we want to see how you guys are reacting to what you are hearing. Here's some additional information we picked up on Sue, folks. If the guys can bring back up the graphic for us, because it's available out there in public.
Well, this one, the first bit of information there is in 2013, he founded the energy gas company China Zhangha Inc. And that is a company. I think, again, I every time I say these things, I keep saying this information is in the public domain. This is not information that we're just pulling together out of nowhere. It's in the public domain. It's from local newspapers. The second point is in China's Zhanghe Inc. claims to have started with an investment of 50 million US dollars, according to their about page on their website. So again, we're pointing you in the direction of where we're getting this information from. So you can go there and check that for yourselves. When we're dealing with matters like this, Sherb, you have to be very much dot our I's and cross our T's when it comes to our source of information. Again, they're saying China Zhanghe Inc. has granted license, was granted license rather to export fuel by Sam Hines. Again, we are not putting that allegation like that. That is being picked up out of the local news. This is information that is in the public domain. So that's why I said a little earlier that this name has been around for quite some time.
Who is Sue? Interesting.
But all of this name has been around for such a long time. This is the first time it is coming to the forefront. So it's like you have this, it appears that you have this person that was in the back doing a lot of business and whatever as a businessman. So the bigger question is, I think, everyone is asking the question, who is Sue? But my question is why did Sue make these damning allegations?
It's the old Sue for me. It's the old Sue for me.
That's the question that I have. Why these allegations? Why now? What caused these allegations to be made in the first place?
Interestingly enough.
What went wrong? And there's a lot of times that let's not be too interested in who the person is, but to the matter at hand and why was this done? Why did the reporter from Vice Media travel to Guyana to have an interview with the sitting vice president on a matter like this? So those are the real questions that I have in my head because, like I said, I'm pretty certain that we're just scratching the surface. This is just a tip of the iceberg, and there is so much more that is yet to be revealed.
More on the matter than on the pistol. More on the matter. But here's some additional information we have on Sue, folks. More in the matter than on the pistol. This one here, more in the matter than on the pistol. Yep.
Well, again, I'm going to say, the first bullet point that you have up on the screen right now is that the APNUAFC revoked that license in 2016. Again, this is in the public domain. Go out there, do your research if you will, but our information is coming from local news and it's out there. And then we have again, Sue also controls the real estate development company High Tech Construction Inc. The company was one of those which was looking to develop the East Bank lands for housing during the Ramatar administration. Again, this information is being pulled out of the public domain, and this is what we have thus far when it comes to this individual. So like I said, it's a lot going on. None of these things actually being the issue that was in the interview, but the question came out, who is this person?
Who is Sue?
And then actually
who is Sue?
Looking for information on who this person
who is. Sue?
These are the things that was actually revealed to us, and we're just putting it out there to you as it is. Again, everything that we're putting out there is information in the public
We just
domain.
Pull it together, collate it for you. And Drita, interestingly enough, one of the daily newspapers picked up on this interview last evening, this press conference rather, that the vice president had, again, trying to do damage control on Sue. Again, as we said, Isabel Young has not spoken. She never said she did an interview with the vice president. We have not seen this feature, whatever she's working on, this story she's working on. We have not had the benefit of that full story as yet. But the vice president went ahead and released part of the interview. This is just a part of it, based on how it is edited. It is just a part of the interview, and had to come back last evening. I think they were on around 8. There was press conference was around 8 last evening. We were busy at the time. It was on around 8. Again, trying to do damage control on this whole Sue issue and the allegations that he took bribe from Chinese companies to prefer them over other bidders for huge projects that are estimated to the tune of billions of taxpayers' dollars. So this newspaper this morning locally, picking up on this, this Sue business says, and this is a quote attributed to the vice president. According to the newspaper, last evening, the vice president, repeated the arguments while informing that he had spoken to his tenant and his tenant denies the claims. So the vice president said last evening, in effect, that he spoke to Sue about these allegations, that Sue would have spoken to Vice and told Vice Media that Jagdio takes bribes. Jagdio said in the interview that he spoke with his tenant and Sue is denying the allegations. Right? I wonder, why isn't Sue coming to front for himself?
Well,
why wouldn't Sue come to front for himself and say to the media and the public, I never said that to Vice? The person who the allegations are being made against comes into the public domain and says, I talked to the man said, he ain't talk to them.
Well, Vice is yet to say anything.
Interesting. But the interview gets even more, the press conference last night gets even more bizarre. And it gives you more questions than answers. I'm going to read about two paragraphs of it from the daily newspaper. They say, however, he said he was not put his head on a block for his tenant, as he has already been victim to someone who he knew using his name for personal gains. And this is now Jagdio speaking. I have experiences too, where one person, a female, she was basically telling people that she could gain access and collecting favors for them. I found out and I stopped seeing anyone. I don't know what people tell investors, but I know for sure it is not for me. It is not for no bribe. He said, I am not willing to put my head on no block for no Sue Jurong. What he says to somebody, if he is lobbying them or if it is a lie. He claims this is a lie. He never said anything of the sort. But I am not putting my head on a block, because if he says that to someone, that is his business. But if I discover he is doing that and he asks me to see anybody or he asks me to see somebody, I would never see them again. So basically the vice president is saying business as usual.
Well, actually,
business as usual.
The most interesting word in what you just read there is that again, the last word. He will not see them again. Basically, that's basically saying
the deduction here is we will continue to see people on behalf of Sue, but if you find that Sue did talk to Vice Media, he's going to bring things to a halt.
No, but he says again, so that is his again admitting that he has been seeing persons that Sue was bringing to him. So he's not going to see them again.
Business goes on, folks.
So
business goes on. We're almost at program time, Jarita.
Already?
Yet we have so much information to share with you. Yep. So the vice president has spoken to his tenant, and his tenant has asked him to tell you the allegations are false. Tenant can't speak for himself, can't engage in media for himself. Multi-billionaire perhaps, can't speak for himself. So the man who the allegations have been made against, he goes and talks to the man who makes the allegations, allegedly, and comes back and says the man says it's a lie.
Yeah. So Again, I remind the viewers right now, everyone out there that you're thinking and you are very engaged with what is going on, you would know that this is just a tip of the iceberg. We're just scratching the surface. So as the hours go on, I think today, throughout the course of today, I would not be surprised if I see another interview by the vice president, especially given the fact that no one was looking at that one last night. So they may come back again and probably do a replay or have another a new interview done
Yep.
altogether. But we will be following the story very, very closely. And I dare say the irony of this story is that the Vice Media did not put it out there. This is not something that we put out there. This is something that we are reporting on, that was put out there by the Vice President himself, by his page, and by the government media. So this is something that no one can go and say, we're trying to dig up a story. This is something that was put out by them. They put this out. We didn't put it out.
Yep. Interesting enough. And the fallout continues. The fallout continues, folks. I'm very interested to see the Vice News feature whenever it comes out. Very interesting
Me
to see.
too, me too.
Very interesting to see that. Folks, unfortunately, that's our time. It goes by so fast.
That's
We just
way
started
too
talking.
fast.
Just started talking, and here we have to run and leave you guys. But I'm trusting that you guys would go on to have a very productive day. Whether you stay at home, you're going to school, you are going to work, you're at work, you're on the road, watching us, listening to us in your headphones, you're on a bus, you're in a taxi, traveling, going someplace. So glad you guys could spend these few minutes with us this evening. Trust you had a good breakfast, or you will continue to have a good breakfast this morning, and you guys will have a fantastic, productive, energized, fired up day, guys.
That's right. So glad that so many of you have joined us this morning. We're looking at the screen. Again, the name is going by so quickly.
Glennis Bingo Burns.
So I think that's a surname I just
Gary
read.
Greenwich.
That is so
Pauline
stay with me
Chalmers.
right now.
Jam Isaacs.
Good
Levita.
morning to all of you wonderful, wonderful persons out there. And I'm going to say on behalf of FYI, we thank you for everything that we've been doing. We thank you for the contributions that you guys have been making. And we continue to encourage you to stay with us and partner with us and just be a part of what we're building right now, this credible source of information to bring to you so that we can keep the government of the day accountable, and more so to keep information, credible information, coming to you at your fingertip every morning, every midday, every night. Once it happens, you will know what is going on. Sherrod.
Yep, guys, we cannot do these programs without you as we go. And that's really to say, we encourage you guys to come on board and to partner with us. As you know, we are an affiliate program of the In the Ring program, and an affiliate also of the Below the Belt program. And we invite you guys to come on board and partner so that we can do more of these programs, we can expand what we're doing, and we can continue to pursue the truth wherever it leads us. And so we are available at all the platforms that are available for the In the Ring program. We are available via their Cash App platform. As you guys should know, the Cash App handle there is a $ in the ring 592. The $ in the ring 592. And then we are available via Zelle and via PayPal. It's the same email address, in the ring 592 at gmail.com, in the ring 592 gmail.com, and then we're available via MMG, the local cash app system. Folks, 627-6963 is our number there. We're available via MoneyGram, via Western Union as well. And if you guys need any guidance on any of these platforms, you can WhatsApp that very MMG number, 627-6963. Thank you for your support, and thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for your time today. Trita has the final word.
I can never remember all that Sherrod just said. So I'll just encourage you to partner with us every single morning.
By the 20th show, you'll be going through it.
So, thank you for joining us this morning, and we remind you of our 12 Below the Belt show, and again the 8 p.m. show of In the Ring. Join us. And tomorrow we'll be back with you, FYI, at 8 a.m. See you guys. Have a beautiful day.